Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Footy Fans Podcast. Andrew Santo and Joe. More of a somber podcast episode, I think, is the theme of today's show. We will talk about some games and what happened over the weekend and since then. But right off the top of the show here, since our last episode, Antonio Conte gone from Tottenham, Brendan Rodgers gone from Leicester City, and what do you know, Graham Potter. We didn't think it was going to happen. We thought he had the backing of management and ownership. Mm-hmm. He's gone as well, and it'll surprise you who they're thinking of replacing him for the remainder of the season. But before that, guys, how's it going with you guys?
Good, yeah. Got a lot to talk about. Gonna give some quality content here on all the games. Yeah. Just it's kind of like what we talked about last week, where teams dropping points. Like the Newcastle game, Newcastle beating Man U. Man U being on like a great run. So it's like one of the things. Top of the table is just shifting, with the exception of Arsenal and City just kind of sitting 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah, big results, big news. So excited to dive in with all the stuff going on in the EPL.
Well, it wouldn't be fair if we didn't start with Chelsea, and I don't want to take all the episode time on this one, but boys, he's gone. What the hell?
Yeah.
It's tough because I was seeing some things from the fan base, and I personally think that nothing's going to change from this point. From this point of the season now, Chelsea has played 29 matches. So they have 9 games left? 9 games left. What do you what ground can you make up in 9 games? Yes, you can go on a 9 game win. You can get 27 points out of it. That'd be crazy. That'd make them finish with 56 points, which would be right now in the top 4. But that's definitely not going to happen. So I think, in my point of view, why even go to that extent of getting rid of him now when you still have a Champions League quarterfinal match to play?
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things, right?
Yeah.
He brought them, think what you want to think about Graham Potter, and obviously his time at Chelsea was, you can call it a failure, because he was brought in to change the team around from the first 4 or 5 games with what happened with Tuchel, and that clearly didn't happen. That being said, he brought them to a Champions League quarterfinal. That had nothing to do with Tuchel.
Yeah.
Yes, they qualified last year by finishing in the top 4, but to get to this point in the tournament, that's all Graham Potter and the team.
Yeah.
So now you're expecting to have an interim manager take over the team for your 2 biggest games of the season against Real Madrid, coming up in quarterfinals, coming up in Champions League, and have them now just try and see out the rest of the season, the last 9 games. I don't get why you just can't keep them for this time and then maybe start fresh again in the summer.
Yeah. I think maybe they want to give the new coach time in the interim, where he kind of has free reign. He can't really do anything wrong with 9 games left. Just kind of get used to the team, get acclimated. So then you can kind of hit the new year with the ground running, as opposed to starting with a new coach in the new year. I think this gives them the opportunity to get prepared and then start fresh next season.
Yeah. I mean, and it is, considering Chelsea, I don't know if they're obviously not the most patient club, and we're seeing even under new management, they're just we got to make changes now. So, one of those things.
Yeah. And so what I've just been reading most recently, Julian Nagelsmann from Bayern Munich, who got let go earlier in the season, he seems to be the front runner right now for the job.
Yeah.
And I just saw a report, though, this morning that potentially Frank Lampard might come back, and the interim just until the end of the season.
Yeah.
He's obviously familiar with the club, most of the players. He knows his way around the locker room, obviously.
Yep.
So maybe just for these last 9 games in Champions League, I guess, give him the reins of the team to just see the season out. And then, which would be tough to do, because imagine they actually pull off a win in the Champions League, and then they say, hey, by the way, you're not the actual manager. It's kind of like what happened when they had Roberto Di Matteo as the manager. I think he came in on the interim. He won Champions League in like 2012 or whatever it was, and then they let him go like a quarter into the season.
Yeah.
So that'd be tough for Lampard, but you know, I think if it was going to happen, I think it should have happened sooner, maybe, because now you kind of look like a fool because you let Graham Potter spend £600 million over 2 transfer windows. Oh, sorry, you let Graham Potter spend almost 300 million in one transfer window, and he had Tuchel and other staff do another around 300 million in the previous transfer window. So whoever comes in might not want these players. Whoever comes in might say, these guys don't fit my system now.
Yeah.
And then they have to go sell them off for a loss, obviously, and potentially spend more money on players to fit whoever's new system's coming in. Like, this team's a mess. This team's a mess. We already knew that based on what their performance has been this season, but they're clearly a mess right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I hope if they bring someone in like a Nagelsmann, I think that would be huge. And I could see that really shifting things. So hopefully that kind of like, transform them, and he can be like the Pep and the Klopp for Chelsea that just kind of stick there and just make it their own.
35 years old.
Yeah.
Pochettino's name was out there too. Sorry, Pochettino was mentioned. Zidane was mentioned.
Yeah.
Like, take your pick.
Yeah, because I mean, the top 4 right now seem like they found their groove and their person, right? Liverpool, they have Klopp. I still don't know what's going on with Liverpool, but top 4 right now. So, if Liverpool and Chelsea can like find their guy, and same with Tottenham, then we have like a really solid top like 7 teams that can make things really exciting.
Yeah, and looking at the top, I don't know if I want to include Brighton in there because Potter was there, then he left, obviously. But like the top 7 teams, including Aston Villa and Brighton, I guess, and Manchester United, Newcastle, Man City, Arsenal, there is a very clear identity with all those teams.
Yeah,
like it took the firing of Steven Gerrard to bring Unai Emery into Aston Villa, but since he's been there, all he's done is turn that team around from a 16th, 15th place team to a top 7.
Yeah,
in a year basically. So that's that, and then obviously the Brighton. I said like Graham Potter kind of shaped and molded that team over many years, and now De Zerbi's there, and he's kind of just seeing them out, and like they're just playing like they have nothing to lose. But then everyone else, like we said before in other podcast episodes, Man United identity, Newcastle identity, Arsenal, Man City, clearly they have identities and cultures. I think I saw a stat someone put out. It was like since 2010, I think only 2 managers at Chelsea have been there for more than 2 years.
Oh yeah.
So that's over 13 years. It's been like a revolving door. I think they've had 12 managers in 13 seasons.
Jeez.
Like it's just one after another. Like there for a year, gone halfway season. There for maybe 2 years, gone again. Like some names that were getting dropped, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy was there. Like Scolari was there.
Yeah.
Avram Grant was there. Like Vios Boas was there. Like remember he's on Tottenham for a little while too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I forgot about all these people.
Yeah. And it's tough, right? Because then like
Benitez.
It also comes with like rotating players because everyone like likes players that they like. Exactly. So like you have a manager bringing players, and then it's like, oh, that manager's gone. Now it's like a new manager comes in, so you just get this team. Like I don't know, it's just like not healthy for the culture.
And the thing with the guys that are going to stay there as like constants, like Reece James is locked up until 2028 or something, 2027. Enzo Fernandez, they just made him the most expensive Premier League player of all time. He's there for another 8 seasons. So you got to think like these guys are going to be with the team for a long time. They probably have to have some say and be like, hey, maybe we don't get rid of this guy. Like I just met this guy 2 years ago and he's like my best friend now. But now a new manager comes in and now he's gone because they don't like the system that they fit or something. Like look at all these other teams, they stick together.
Yeah.
Like obviously the bigger clubs, a lot of guys do get bought and sold and changed around.
Yeah.
But look at the core of Man City for like as long as they were there. Like Yaya Toure, David Silva, De Bruyne, like they were like that was their core.
Yeah.
Aguero, same thing. Like that was like their team, and they went on to win tons of championships. Arsenal
Yeah.
now, they might have that same kind of core potentially, but like it's just at Chelsea, it's just literally a revolving door of players.
Yeah.
17 signings in 2 transfer windows.
That's
17.
that's a squad and a half.
Seriously.
Actually.
That's a full new squad.
Yeah.
And so these 17 players have been brought in again under 2 separate managers with the same ownership behind them. So again, the confidence of those players have to be like, I don't know what my next future is going to be like because this team clearly doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They have ownership that wants results now. And they bring 17 players in. What about the other previous 17 that are already there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like expiring contracts at the end of the year. Jorginho's obviously left already. N'Golo Conte's contract is up this year, I think. So again, there's just so many questions with this team, and oh god, I'm honestly like I'm so foggy. Like I remember our first episode after Tuchel got fired and Potter got brought in. I feel similar to that because I just don't know what this team is anymore.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like this is the beginning of the season. This is like 10 podcast episodes ago, 12 episodes ago, whatever it is. And I feel the same.
Yeah.
Like nothing's changed. Like it's just a dark cloud over the team, and I don't know what to do.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I think
I need you guys to be my like bright lights right now. I need you guys to be like my optimistic, buddies over here.
If they bring in Nagelsmann, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, like they need a top coach, right? Like the bringing Graham Potter in, I don't know if it was the best. Because I was talking to Santo the other day. It's like you want to compete for the EPL title and Champions League. And Graham Potter's done great with Brighton, but he's not like he hasn't like won at that he hasn't won trophies at that caliber.
Nothing, yeah.
So it's tough to put him in a position where we like that's really the end goal, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
So you need they should have been looking for a man. Like they didn't want to stick with Tuchel, looking for someone who's won trophies at that level. That's their benchmark, right? So yeah, it was. I don't know if it was the right call to begin with.
I agree.
So they just they got to do what Man U find their guy and stick with them.
I think more damage has been done by getting rid of Tuchel.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of like this, like the kicking off point.
Yeah.
Like once that decision was made, which is a very rash decision by, again, new owners, is kind of, I don't know what they were thinking at the time, but maybe they were meeting in the off season, like they heard some things from Tuchel that they didn't like, and they kind of gave him a short leash.
Yeah.
But that being said, like since that firing, if they thought this is the right direction to go into, they were clearly mistaken. And a lot of people were saying, a lot of pundits were saying the same things that we're kind of saying. Like Graham Potter had no track record of success. And I think we touched on it a few episodes ago. Success at Brighton is just staying in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Like that's your goal. Like
right.
maybe you set a goal to begin the season, stay in the Premier League year 1, stay in the top 15 year 2, stay in the top 12 year 3. That's their goals. Chelsea, it's every single year, compete for the title, win Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are 2 very spread apart goals for a manager to have year 1 and year 2 at the, like he woke up beginning of the season with Brighton, expected to be in the top 10, top 12 maybe, to the next month being at Chelsea, expected to win Champions League against Real Madrid in a couple weeks, possibly in a quarterfinal match. Like for him too, it must have been very overwhelming. And he did keep his cool most of the time, and he did act like very like neutral, and he never seemed too aggravated, never seemed too upset with a lot of things. But he must have been like dying inside a little bit, because like how can you not, with all the coverage that the team was getting and everything, reading all the papers and stuff in England, it must have been pretty hard for him and his family.
Yeah.
But that being said, he wasn't doing anything to really prove the doubters wrong with his track record of games, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Hope they turn around.
I don't know. And they just played Liverpool yesterday. They draw 0-0. It's their 4th straight 0-0 draw against Liverpool, I think, in all competitions. So, I mean, like you think like maybe get the new manager in there, interim. He's been on the bench with Graham Potter. I forget his name. Spanish guy. He's taking over right now for at least last game yesterday. But yeah, with 9 games left, I don't know.
Yeah.
They have Wolves next away. That's on this Saturday, and then Real Madrid on the 12th, first leg, like
Yeah.
at the Bernabeu. So
Yeah.
welcome to the big leagues. Whoever's taking over, either it be Nagelsmann now coming in and getting the job done and maybe staying there for a long time, or just an
Yeah.
interim person. Good luck, I guess.
Yeah.
Honestly, they could
Yeah.
lose the rest of the season, and I wouldn't bat an eye.
Yeah. I think goal is just like finish as high as you can in the table this season in the Premier League and like just try and make a run in Champions League.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, go for a run and get hot at the right time, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, this Wednesday and then the following Tuesday, the 18th. Those are the two biggest games in the season for now for Chelsea. Because like I said, they could lose out the rest of the games in the Premier League, and I wouldn't care. Like finish 17th. Oh, no, sorry, yeah, finish 17th. I don't care. Don't get relegated.
Yeah.
Finish 17th. Like, go ahead. Where do you guys want to go from here? Do you want to go to Brendan Rodgers with Leicester?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's like tons to talk about there. Like, I think it was coming. He
think it
stayed
was overdue.
a lot longer than I think we all expected, but
Yeah.
Big time.
I think it was time to go.
Yeah. Just unfortunate, which is strange. Like they have like on paper their side's decent and he's obviously a really good coach. So I'm just not sure, maybe it just wasn't a good fit. But yeah, hopefully they turn around because they're not sitting in the best spot right now, obviously, in 19th. It'd be a little sad to see Leicester go down after winning the Premier League, what was it, 5 years ago? No, not that long. When did they win?
I think so. At least that long.
Yeah. Yeah. So just wouldn't be the best. So hopefully they find someone who wants to take over that job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's they were kind of
maybe
in this. Go ahead.
This would be a whirlwind. What if a Graham Potter, Leicester?
He said he's taking a break. He did. I think he's already approached. He said he's taking some time off.
Yeah.
Legit, like actually quoted saying that.
Yeah.
Which I mean, for him, he definitely needs it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Recalculate his entire life, and like this, I don't want to get too drastic and too dramatic, but like this could be like a catastrophic thing for Graham Potter. Like in the coaching world, like when you're given the reins of a machine like Chelsea, and you have your squad put out that kind of performance over 25 games in the Premier League, like that's not very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that, like on a resume, that doesn't look very good. That was your last job. So, I mean, it'd be hard to say if he's going to go to a Premier League team next. Maybe he kind of could start again from scratch and go to the championship somewhere. But
yeah,
I don't know, man. Like that's gotta be like again, like that for him. It has to be like a demoralizing like last couple months.
Mm-hmm.
You would think. So I don't know if he's gonna get any work anytime soon.
Yeah.
Well, whether that be because of no job opportunities or because of himself just taking some time and relaxing.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak for him. Obviously can't speak for him, but I don't know. Like it wasn't good, boys. It wasn't a good run.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good run.
Yeah.
Antonio Conte. Leaving Tottenham. That was a weird. I'm not even sure about the full story. I know he called out his players, called out the team and the club, I think, and like made it public, obviously. And I think that didn't sit well with ownership, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they kind of mutually agreed to like part ways. Was like the way that it was put out there to the press.
Okay.
I think that's what it was. Like I don't think he was like fired. I don't think he like quit or resigned, but he did resign, but it was like mutual, I guess.
Yeah.
But like when he did that at the time, they were in like 4th place. Like I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Yeah. No, it's very, very strange. I thought he could have been at Tottenham for a while, but maybe it wasn't the best culture fit at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe like, they didn't see eye to eye with Levy and like the ambitions Antonio Conte wanted versus like the money they wanted to spend. I'm just not sure, where the disconnect was. Maybe just weren't aligned with goals. So yeah, very strange. I mean, I'm sure he'll find a new job somewhere.
Maybe back to Italy somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be a good idea. Yeah, I think he just, like you said, like the culture fit wasn't very good, I guess, with Tottenham. And like their stats, I don't have the actual numbers, but I just know for a fact, like the last like month of the season, let's just say, their stats have drastically gone down. Like
Yeah.
goals for have gone way down. Goals against have gone way up. Last 5 matches, 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. Mix that in with some, with the loss to Milan, sorry, in the Champions League. Like all these things kind of adding up, it was like the team just wasn't performing well, like in all facets, kind of thing. And I think it just came to a boiling point for him. He just called the team out, and that just didn't sit right with Daniel Levy, and they just again mutually parted ways.
Yeah.
But again, for this is like something that would happen for a team in like 11th place or something, you would think.
Yeah.
Not for a Champions League holding position,
Yeah. No, again,
strange.
it's very, very strange. But that's part of Conte's personality. That's why he like is who he is. So you got to take the good with the not so good, baby.
Mm-hmm.
If it works out, it's great. If not, then you get something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ultimate downfall, I guess you'd think, from not having a good culture in your team.
Mm-hmm.
And just one more thing, just to go back to Potter, there was other things that I saw from players reaching out and talking a little bit, and they didn't quote who it was, but there was talks that he was like a yes man for ownership.
Okay.
And he was kind of like, again, this is from the players. They were interviewed afterwards, and I think it was anonymous and stuff. But they were saying he's very much like a yes man for the ownership, and they just kind of like, he was just saying yes to like whatever they wanted to do. And he didn't have much control of the team. So again, we've seen that before with previous clubs, like a la Arsenal and a la Manchester United the last couple of years, where that's just not going to fit.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the issue, I think, with having like 2 majority owners in the club. With Todd Bowley, and I forget the other guy's name, but they're the major owners, so they kind of have the first and final say with what happens with the club.
Yeah.
Not like it's like a corporation or like has chairman involved and everything like other clubs that we've seen before that kind of stay behind the scenes. Todd Bowley is clearly very involved.
Yeah.
And so whatever manager you bring in there has to be some give and take between the manager and ownership.
Yeah.
Because we said before, like when Ten Hag took over Manchester United, he definitely must have walked into that room and said, again, you guys are a mess. You have been for the last 5 years. Let me do me, and I'll give you guys results. The same kind of thing has to happen with Chelsea, I think. And to tell an American that, an American owner, might be kind of tough to do.
Yeah.
Obviously different personalities between like European and Americans. But whoever it is has to be someone proven. It definitely has to be someone who can take authority and who can take charge. And they have to be given the reins to actually do what they have to do. Because if you have someone over your shoulder all the time watching over you and telling you what to do and criticizing every little thing, you can't operate at 100%.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
And Chelsea's a club that needs someone who's going to come in and have a plan for like what to do and like kind of dictate ownership a little bit. Like, I'm sure Pep Guardiola and Arteta have their plan. They're like, we need like these certain types of players. Where, I'm sure Graham Potter does it too, but like you don't want ownership to like build the team. You want it to be like a collaboration, if anything.
Exactly.
Because they're going to be the one managing the players, right? So, yeah.
I agree. Good point, Joe. It's just I thought honestly that Lampard could have been that player or could have been that coach. Sorry, just because he's been around winning before, and obviously he hasn't done it at his own personal managerial level, but just being around like Jose Mourinho for all those years and like learning how to win, and also being around Ancelotti and like all the other coaches that they've had in that like decade that I talked about, like they're all winners, to be honest. And so I thought Lampard was going to go in there and be that fit, but I think if he would have had some more time, maybe he could have gotten that. But again, just short leash with ownership at Chelsea, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just the way Chelsea is, really.
I love it, but I hate it. Like it's so tough. Because I love the passion that the ownership has. Because I like that ownership's involved because it shows that they actually care.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, with Abramovich, he did take a step back for the last, I don't even know, maybe 10 years or so with Chelsea. Like before, he was very, very, very much involved. Like when he first got there in the early 2000s. But the last 5, 6, 7 years, especially, he has taken more of a back seat. But now with Todd Bowley coming in there, it's kind of like Abramovich 2.0, where he wants to have like his fingerprints on everything.
Right.
And like you just can't. Like if that's the thing, if you have your fingerprints on everything as ownership, then you're the first one that the finger has to be pointed at sometimes.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
if your team's not being successful, maybe you're
Right.
too involved.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't know what the hell you're talking about because you're an American business owner that specializes in like baseball and basketball in the US. What the hell does he know about footy?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The table, like we said, the top two very much unchanged. 72 points for Arsenal, 64 points from Man City. We thought the gap might be closing, a little quicker, I guess, but they're just both not faltering.
Yeah.
Like this is what's going to happen, right?
Yeah. City have a game City have a game to catch up on Arsenal.
Yes. Yep.
So they'll be 5 points back assuming they win that one. So yeah, none of them, they're just getting results. Each of them have 4 wins in the last 4. So I'll have to see if one of them slip up.
Mm-hmm.
And we can see if that gap either gets bigger or, closes. I mean, 9 games left. It's getting really down to the wire for City to catch up.
April 26th will be a telltale.
Yeah, I think that'll kind of more or less decide, I think.
Yeah. But I mean, like if it stays like this, then Arsenal can go for a draw and that would still like really favor them, to be honest.
Yeah.
At that point.
Oh, in that matchup you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
If it stays, if the gap stays like this and like nothing changes and they go to that game. Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely, the pressure is more on Arsenal, I guess, to keep up their performance, because if they do slip like 2 games, we know Man City can easily win every game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of have to keep their consistency going, which clearly they have.
Yeah.
They're hosting Liverpool this weekend. Like we said, Liverpool coming off a draw against Chelsea yesterday on Tuesday. Not the greatest performance from Liverpool and from Klopp. I mean, that's another story in itself. Kind of their performance this season. They're in 8th place. They've kind of been around that area for the majority of the season now. And it's like once you think that they're getting the ball rolling a little bit, they have setbacks.
Yeah.
It's been, I don't want to say a tale of 2 seasons, but it's been a tale of just, like I said, like inconsistent performances.
Yeah.
Where they're sitting with 43 points when they could easily have at least 60 points if some other games would have gone their way. But at the same time, I think they could be, where Chelsea is and have like 35 points and be in like 11th.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's kind of been like a really hit or miss season for them. Basically a disappointing one for them as well, you would think.
Yeah.
Because this came out of nowhere. Like they were in a Champions League final last year, weren't they?
Yeah.
Champions League final last season and fighting for Man City until the very last day of the season. And now they're in 8th place, drawing games, losing games to far less superior sides. They have 9 losses on the season, which we haven't seen them have that many losses in a long time, it feels like. Yeah. And there's still 9 games to play.
Yeah. Very strange. Don't know if Sadio Mane leaving is the entire story. So we'll see if there's like a turnaround next season. Because they gotta figure it out. I think Klopp's the right guy for them. They just gotta figure out what's going on and what their identity is.
Mm-hmm. You think he's gonna stay?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, one off season, they're not gonna. I mean, he just signed a massive contract, right? Last season,
Mm-hmm.
I think till I don't even know when. I think it was for 5 years or something. So I mean, they'll like give him the benefit of the doubt, I would imagine, for this season. Next season, if it's the same old story, there might be pressure then, but might as well just wait till next season, regroup, see what happens.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I think making a decision based on this season would be a little harsh, to be honest.
This entire conversation, I can bring back to Chelsea, and I can just say, I wish my team was that patient or something. Like 1 down season from Tuchel, and it's like he's gone.
Yeah,
like he's been your most successful manager in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
and he's only there for like a season and a half.
Yeah.
I think he was there for 16 months or something,
Yeah.
or 18 months, whatever it is. Newcastle again, they're rolling. They had a bit of not a dry spell or anything in any mean, sorry, but around like that League Cup tie against United in the championship game there.
Yeah.
Those couple weeks were like iffy for them.
Yeah. 3 draws, 2 losses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, leading up to that, the draw to West Ham, draw to Bournemouth, lost to Liverpool, that match. Then you come back with the loss to Man City, and since then they've been kind of back on a streak.
Yeah.
Winning 4 straight. But again, it's a team that maybe wasn't ready for the big spotlight of like a League Cup just yet.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that they didn't deserve to be there because clearly they went on a good run. They've been consistent the last year since Eddie Howe's been there. But maybe they just kind of shined a little bit too bright at the wrong time, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And coming back down to earth after that loss to Manchester United, and like I said, then they lose to Man City. Like that's just like the last team you'd ever want to see coming off a cup tie loss is Man City, and I was waiting on their doorstep for them after that game. So lost there as well. But then again, like I said, 4 straight wins since then. It just kind of shows what Newcastle has been like the majority of the season. Like it just kind of puts them back on like that winning level. Sonda's mic is muted.
No, yeah, that, and I think it's cool for them, to have that poor run and then get 3 wins like off the hop right after. It shows a lot of character and kind of shows them that they deserve to be where they are. When you hit that challenge and you like bounce back, that's like really, really telltale sign that you deserve to be there.
Yeah. I'm got my money on them for Champions League, I would think. Especially with Conte leaving Tottenham. Yeah, unless they bring in someone who's gonna, take the reins and go on a win streak. I think Newcastle and Man U are really, really solid for Champions League spots.
Yeah, you would think. Again, Brighton's kind of there, 7 points back from Champions League with 2 games in hand. But again, I don't see Brighton making that push. If anyone was to slip down, you're right. I think Tottenham. But we've seen it before, actually, with the new manager, jump up or pump up, whatever you want to call it. A new manager gets to a new club and they can just go on a streak too.
Yeah.
Just bring in some new life to the team. I don't know who they're going to bring in because again, it's a very different spot than what Chelsea's in and what Leicester is in.
Mm-hmm.
Leicester needs a manager just to see them out the rest of the season and hopefully survive.
Yeah.
Chelsea we can go take care of Chelsea right now. Maybe the Champions League game might be a little bit tough, but they don't really need anyone for the rest of the season because again, my expectations are so low for the remainder of the Premier League season that I don't really care who they bring in at this time. If they are going to bring someone in guaranteed like next summer, whoever comes in now as a caretaker, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Then, like I said, Tottenham, they're 3 points out of a Champions League spot. Like they have a lot to play for still.
Right.
Like again, like Leicester does clearly because they have to get out of relegation, but Tottenham is like right there. Like, they need someone proven.
Yeah.
They need someone who knows how to win.
Yeah.
Who's that going to be? I don't know. You can't bring Sam Allardyce into Tottenham right now and have them haven't performed very well. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know. They need someone for sure.
I don't know who.
Yeah,
because you got to think if they bring someone in who's like proven and knows how to win, they would probably want that player or that probably want that manager to be there long term. But like, how can you make that commitment right now? Like, with 9 games left in the season.
Yeah.
Like I know what I'm saying, like I don't know if they can convince someone to come in now and be the manager and then also carry them on to the next season.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they just get someone in now to see them out to the rest of the year and then like do a real job search in the off season. I don't know like what they're gonna do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah.
I don't know who's there now as like their interim.
I don't even know.
Yeah. Tough spot to be in.
Very tough, yeah. Oh, Pochettino's name getting tossed around again.
Stellini?
Luis Enrique.
Christian Stellini is interim.
He's the one that's at Tottenham right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so he must have just been on. Okay, there he is. Yeah, he must have just been on his staff.
Yeah.
Same with Graham Potter. I think the manager there. I think he was just on his staff.
Yeah.
I want to get his name because they talk about it on the broadcast, but I forget. Bruno Saltor. That's it. Bruno Saltor.
Okay.
I think he played. I think they said he played for Real Madrid or Villarreal or something
Mm-hmm.
as a player. He played with somebody or he was managed by somebody. Kind of with some kind of pedigree. But I forget what it actually was. He's young though. He's like 42. I guess he's not that young, but he's 42. He played for Brighton. Oh, I think
Yeah.
that might have been. I think he might have played under Graham Potter at Brighton for like a little bit or something because he was there till 2019. That's what it was. So he played for Valencia a little bit in Spain, and then he played for Brighton from 2012 to 2019. 225 appearances in the Premier League, or sorry, in the league.
Yeah.
He was definitely there with Potter.
Yeah.
And then he just assumed, he came on the coaching staff and then just assumed the role as Potter left.
Okay.
That's kind of crazy. It's like his senior career is here for like playing, and then managerial career, it just goes to Chelsea. Like it's his only managerial career he's had. It just goes right to Chelsea. Like, again, like, good luck, buddy. Like you got Real Madrid in 7 days.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Gonna be tough for sure.
Boy. If we want to look at the other side of the table, though, we already touched on Leicester and their performance. 25 points, sitting in 19th place. Bournemouth, 2 points ahead of them in 18th, and Southampton 2 points behind them in 20th with 23 points. Nottingham Forest, they're kind of starting to creep down there a little bit more. Don't like to see it. They had a good run. Majority of the season, they were actually out of relegation, Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of recently found their way down there. Again, based on some poor performances. Bournemouth, they kind of clawed out themselves as well, like 2 wins in a couple games. But again, like it's just so bad at the bottom of the table this season that literally anyone can still be relegated. Like West Ham, that's not safe with 27 points in 15th.
Yeah.
Like they're tied with Bournemouth. There's a 4-way tie with 27 points now from 15th to 18th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That can just fluctuate week in, week out until the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's very, very tight. So I think it's going to come down to like the last few days for sure for relegation.
Yeah. Like really until you get to Chelsea, there's no really big gap. Like 12th to 20th, it's all like very tight.
I didn't know so. Yeah, 12th is 30 points. 27th, 18th is 27 points. So 3 points. Oh my God, 3 points difference.
Mm-hmm.
Is that even possible? Like,
Wild.
Can Palace get relegated still in like 12? Like, do they think they're safe right now? Does Palace think that they're safe?
No, judging by how they fired.
Oh, Vieira. That's right, Patrick Vieira. That's right. Good point.
You know,
shout out Roy Hodgson back in the Premier League.
Yeah. So they probably saw this coming, or they probably analyzed the situation and just realized, hey, we gotta get some more wins here. They're I wouldn't say they're up for debate, but like they're not in the relegation battle, I would say, just yet. They have some breathing room, but if you don't get a win in your next few games or a few wins, you don't want to be tussling around in 15th, 16th, 17th.
No, because again, like that's one game in the morning. You could be in 15th and be safe, and by 3 p.m. you're in the relegation zone.
Yeah,
like you can drop 4 or 5 positions in 4 hours in the Premier League table this year.
Yeah.
Did you guys see what happened with Mitrovic and the referee?
No.
A couple weeks ago.
So I got a red card, but like I didn't want to dive into it because I don't
Why?
like dissent or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was he. Did he already get given the red card, or he? I think he was arguing something with the referee, or he was debating something, or I don't know. But he went and like pulled the referee's arm back, and like wanted to like kind of get in his face and like talk to him.
Yeah.
And as soon as he like put his hands on the referee and they kind of moved him back out of the way, or like tried to get back in his face, he gave him a straight red card. And the FA just kind of came out, I think, yesterday with their decision, an 8-match ban.
Jeez.
Yeah, for Mitrovic, who's
Can't
arguably
touch the ref.
best player for Fulham right now.
Yeah.
And since his departure, since that game, I think they've lost 3 straight. And they were sitting in that 6th, 7th position kind of comfortably, and now they're back to 10th, tied with Chelsea with 39 points.
Jeez.
So again, they're going to be safe from any kind of relegation. So good on them for getting back into the Premier League and then being able to stay there and sustain that position.
Yeah.
But what a fall from grace from a season that they could have had.
Yeah.
Imagine they finished in like 6th or 7th and like the bonus money that they would get, and
Yeah. No, it's
all that
tough for
stuff.
sure.
And like again, like Mitrovic, like what are you doing, bud? Like I know he's a fiery player, he's got a lot of passion behind him, crazy Serbian, but like you can't be doing that.
Yeah.
Like I think,
No.
like I feel like the video, like I'm not describing as bad as the video. Actually, no, the video wasn't even that bad, but you just still can't do it, right?
Yeah. Agreed.
It's not like he like assaulted him, but he just can't touch the referee.
Yeah. Totally agree. Yeah.
It's an 8 match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to send a message, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with the sentencing, I guess if you want to call it that. Speaking of just like referees and like officials and stuff, did you guys see the game yesterday with Chelsea and Liverpool?
No.
No. I saw it ended. And
Yeah. Havertz went down on like a partial breakaway and tried to flick it over Allison. And in doing so, Allison went down, made a save, and the ball came back up and hit Havertz in the arm. His arm was like this on his body. Hit him in the arm as like Havertz was leaping over Allison to like not make contact with him. And then the ball goes in the net, and they called it a goal on the field, and then VAR right away just called it no goal.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Wild.
I was arguing with my dad saying that his arm was already on his body, like before, like because he made the shot, Allison made the save, and he's trying to jump over Allison, and like his arm was already here just from his jump, and then the ball struck it.
Yeah.
Like it was already there. It's not like he moved his arm in front of himself and then the ball hit it next. To me, that's not a foul. To me, that's not a handball.
It shouldn't be a handball, but the rules say like an attacking player, if it hits their arm at all, then it gets chopped off, which is kind of odd because that's not the same rule if you're defending.
Oh, explain.
Well, if you're defending and your arm's here and it hits your hand, it's not a PK. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the one thing I don't totally understand.
There's a lot of gray in that rule.
Yeah.
A lot of gray.
So
I just noticed that I'm wearing a white shirt, Son's wearing a black shirt, and Joe's wearing a gray shirt. I just noticed that.
Neutrals.
We're being a little shady today. Yeah, that kind of pissed me off because like again, like I celebrated. I'm like, yeah, like 60th minute, whatever it was, scored a goal, awesome. Finally, again, we scored a goal, which is like just like crazy for Chelsea to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, within a minute, it gets waved off. I'm like,
mhm.
yeah, you kidding right now? And they showed the replay, and I was like, come on, like that's like to me, it's not a handball. Kind of like what Jodo said. Like it's very much ball to hand, not hand to ball in that situation. And again, like anyone can try it. Just take a little jog forward and just try and jump in the air. Your arms are going to come up. Like you can't not jump and not have your arm be raised a little bit. And again, to my point is like he was already jumping before the ball was coming back at him.
Yeah.
Like he was already in this position.
Yeah.
Like, you can't move your arm out of the way. Like it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So that was just tough. And that was just like another, drop in the bucket for Chelsea's week and how it's gone. And it just added insult to injury to me. Yesterday was a tough day. With all things considered.
Yeah.
Just take a look at your EPL schedule for the weekend. Man U versus Everton. Again, I always love that matchup. It's always fun to watch. Something always happens in that game. As your early one on Saturday, Villa and Forest, Brentford and Newcastle, Fulham and West Ham, Wolves and Chelsea. That game's going to finish 0-0. Tottenham and Brighton, Leicester, Bournemouth, Southampton, Man City, Leeds, Crystal Palace, and the late game on Sunday, Liverpool versus Arsenal. That'd be a good one.
Yep.
That's one of those ones, like I said, Liverpool kind of having a crappy season. Let's just call it that.
Yeah.
But you know that they're going to get up for the big ones. Like they're gonna play for the big games. This game's being played at Anfield as well, so you know that they'll be rocking there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I saw a stat. They only have 3 away wins this whole season. Liverpool does.
Okay.
So 9 of their 12 wins have been at Anfield. So I don't know. Let's see how that plays out.
Yeah. That'll be
Big
good.
game. Big game for Arsenal.
Is it a big game for Arsenal? Or is it a big game for Man City?
Well, didn't City already lose to Southampton away in the FA Cup?
It's at home though. Oh no, sorry, it is the same areas. You're right. Did they lose them already?
Yeah, 2-0. I was gonna say it's like I thought because I remember I had the thought earlier, like, oh, Southampton, like Man City went to Southampton again and lost.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, some voodoo there.
Yep.
No, they're gonna smash them like 6-0. Let's be honest. I don't think Klopp has ever lost to the same team twice in a season.
Yeah.
Don't fact check that. All right. Are we good, boys?
We're good.
Good.
All right. I want to thank everyone for listening. This will be up on YouTube. You can see our pretty faces. It'll be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. If you can, leave a review, leave a like. Always helps us out. And then we're also on Instagram and all that stuff too. Get us where you can. We will talk next week after all the week's action.
See everyone.
See ya.
Ciao.